Okay, we're looking at these, the first fret box here, first cage box here in the 5 keys of caged. In the key of A, we start with the A string pattern because E is the 5th of A. Then we go to the E string pattern, 7 root 2. Go around to the C pattern, 3, 4, 5. Now remember, up here in the key of C, the bottom string is the defining string pattern for the key is 3, 4, 5. So we're at the C pattern there. Go around the circle in fifths, but these are string pattern fifths. So you have going from E to, instead of B, because B is the 5th of E, you're going to C. That's a string pattern fifth. It's an augmented fifth. So from C, we're going to go to G, which is the 6, 7 root. Warp over to the D, warp the D pattern over 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the D pattern, because remember, D, E becomes the 2nd of D, so the lower string is the defining string pattern for the D. So that's what our D is. And then back to A for the top string. You just keep going around. Look at E, starting on 7 root 2. Okay, these are no plays. Not yet. You can play them an octave up. E becomes the root of the key of E. So we have the E string pattern as defined, 7 root 2. Then we go to the C string pattern, 3, 4, 5. To the G string pattern, 6, 7 root. Here's your defining G string pattern, bottom string and top string of the G. Okay, we go to the D string pattern, 2, 3, 4. A string pattern warped over, 5, 6. Back to the E pattern. Same thing with D, works the same way. D, A, E, C, G. D shape, A shape, E shape, C shape, G shape, and D shape. The only reason these little guys are here, these are caged patterns, is because if you can't play these guys here, you have to go to the next cage shape up. Alright, and the good thing about cage shapes is that you get to kind of feel your way around. So if you're doing a D pattern here, you're doing a 2, 3, 4. Okay, that red G now is the 4th of D. The next pattern, you're going to actually share those 2 notes. So if you're in the D pattern, then your next pattern is going to share those 2 notes, and it's going to be a C pattern, is it not? Because it's going to go to 3, 4, 5. So D goes to C because cage starts over again. C, A, G, E, D, and then D goes to C again and starts over again. Then A, then to G, then G goes to E, but actually the E pattern is 7 root 2. So it'd be only fair to call the G pattern, instead of doing the pentatonic, do the diatonic. G would be 6, 7 root, and E would be 7 root 2. Okay, then D would be 2, 3, 4. Again, C is 3, 4, 5. So you have the shared notes, but you got the half step notes are also shared in C, in cage rather. So that's important. We must move along because we do want to get to the new stuff. This is almost the new stuff. As a matter of fact, this is more important than the new stuff, because I could just jump to the new stuff for a minute and then we'll come back to the dot stuff for the finale, right? What bothered me, and so I had to make this chart, is I have the mobility to do the string patterns going up the strings, down the strings, to the right or to the left on the fretboard. So in the patterns, let's say we want to go to the right on the fretboard. So that's going up. So if we're in a C pattern and we want to go up, we're going to go up a 5th from C. Okay, and that's going to take us to a G pattern with bookend isolation. Here's the G pattern. Okay, or If we want to go straight up the strings from a C string pattern, we're going to go to a G pattern that's going to be 6, 7 root right there. So it'd be, can just play a pentatonic G pattern off of that second string. So here's the C pattern. If I want to start on the second string, it's a fifth up in string patterns. So a fifth up in string patterns right here from the C pattern would be the G pattern starting on the 6th. So that would be, but you have to warp it, and it warps back into a C pattern anyway. Alright, and it started to bother me that, and of course if you're going the other way, it's going to be in fourths. So say we're in an A pattern here, key of C. If we want to do the pattern underneath that, now this isn't caged anymore because caged would be C-A-G. It would be the C pattern, sharing the fifth. We want to go in the string circle. We're going to go to the 4th of A, which is the D pattern. It's going to have bookend isolation, so it's going to be down here. Okay, so it's in fourths going down the neck to the left. It's in string pattern 5th going up the neck. And what I mean string pattern 4ths is mostly fourths, but C doesn't go to an F because it has to keep in the letters of caged. So C, what's the closest letter of caged to F? E. In the scale patterns, it's only a half step away. You wouldn't substitute a G there. So it's a diminished 4th going down from C to E. Going up, it's an augmented 5th going from E to C, because you don't go to B. Once again, you got that half step there. So that, but then it bothered me. I know how to go, X and Y direction with the string patterns, but how do we do caged? And this is what this diagram is all about. Let's slow down a second and look at this. Now, cage shares notes. Okay, so I've developed 3 methods. Let's say we start on a C here. There's the same note method. Find the shared note a 4th down on the next string up and start the cage shape from that note. So suppose you want to go from the cage shape of C to the cage shape of A. Of course, you can go horizontally on a string by sharing notes. So it's just 3, 4, 5 is going to share the 5th and go with a 5, 6. 5, 6 is going to share the 6 and go to the 6, 7 root. 7 root 2 is going to share the 7 root, is going to go from 6, 7 root to 7 root 2. That's easy enough, and they're sharing on the way down too, right? But what if you want to go to the next string up in caged? I realized I was going to mess this up. One thing you can do is this. You're on the C, say you're on the C string shape anywhere. If it's on the bottom string, it's the key of C. Okay, only the key of C has the C string shape, where E would be the 3rd of C on the bottom and the top string, right? Now the top string and the bottom string in this particular pattern. This is a pattern fretboard, pattern board, all fourths tuning. So you don't see the 3 is here. It's not warped yet. So this is all fourths tuning. Okay, like that. That's how it goes. It's all fourths tuning. So if we look at that, we want to go from a C to an A pattern. We want the A to be on the next string up. we go 3, 4, 5, and if you look, these are the same notes.